Now with 100% more ducks. Howdy folks, Grok the DuckFarmer here, and I'm on the FTOG Avant3 server, hanging out here at the hovel. That's a fun word to say, you know, hovel. Anyway, I can see here in the background a little bit of Toddy's ever-growing, expanding village that he's got going there, and it looks really cool from this distance. And it makes me kind of feel slightly inadequate because I've got a hovel. And he's got building and building and building over there, which looks really cool. And I've got a hovel. Well, I have a little bit more than a hovel. I've got a stump. Yeah, I've got a stump. Okay, I need something far better than that. And I've built all over the place in different dimensions, like the end and 5,000 blocks away to do blood magic and some mechanism processing. But I figured, nope, it's time to go big. Really big. And to do something really big like this, I'm going to have to do some cross-mod work here. And it's a fairly complicated ritual, and I hope I remember it right. I've got my notes here. So I'm going to see if I can get this done, because if I don't, I have to build it by hand, and I don't want to do that when it's this big. So let's take a look at the ritual. Right here. All right, so this is the beginning part. You outline a 3x3 area, and it's just diamond blocks in the corners with the emerald in the center, and an iron chest. But not just any old iron chest from Iron Chest. It's got to be the gold. Not diamond above it, not silver or any. No, it's got to be gold. Likewise, these cannot be chiseled. I've tried them with the chisel because that looks really cool. No worky. So, can't do that. Next, we need, let's grab the items here. Actually, I can just click here. So, I am using dark oak, so that goes right in the middle, and it's going to be 51 is the diameter. So that's why I have 51 there. Likewise, I've got runestones from roots, because that should make the bottom. And what am I making? I'm making a friggin' huge tree. That's why I've got my dark oak here, and I want it to be super fast, so it's got to be as fast as blazes. Hey, I'm not the one making these jokes. These are from the mod author. So anyway, old root. So we got roots here and here. That helps bind it together. We need the teleportation core from mechanism, because things are going to be flying around like crazy. So we need some helpers. So that's the zombie heads. So they go around the corner like that. And then we need some... no. Hopefully I didn't mix this up. So that needs the nebulous hearts from the Enderman, because they're going to help do with the teleportation stuff. Again, we need a lot of things going fast. That's why we got the teleportation. And from actually additions, we've got these jars of jam. That's energy for the workers. And yes, you need the green in the top right, lower left, and the reds in the top left. No, that's top left, bottom right. Yes, I know my lefts and rights. Hey, amazing. All right, so that should be everything. I think I'm missing. No. I think I've got everything there. All right, so then we need some display stands and a golden axe. So the display stands, those go in, let's see, that's north. So they in the top left, so that's the northwest corner. That goes a display stand there, and a display stand in the opposite corner, this one here. This one takes the golden axe. Don't use tinkers. You will crash the server if you use tinkers. Go away, Rain. Don't want you. So don't use tinkers. Just a plain vanilla gold axe, that will work. And then over here, to finish this, the Staff of Traveling from Ender.io, because again, we need... No falling down. Again, because we need to make sure that we're moving stuff correctly. So that's there. Now we need two more bits. We've got the Arcane Ashes, and you've got to shift right click to drop that right there on top of the chest. And then you use the Staff of Lightning from Roots, and we're going to use that to hit this right here with lightning. And we got, see how many people are on. Oh, we got 3 people on. Nonsanity, Relic, and Torgal are all on. They're going to hear a little bit of lightning. All right, so we hit it with the lightning. So shit. No. Give me back my stupid staff. All right, let's hit it with this. I'm going to have to stand further back and maybe be a little off, because otherwise, if I'm too close, it will actually go in, and that's not what it needs to do. It needs to be lightninged here in the area. So this should work. All right, so shift. Kaboom! Lightning. All right, and now we say the magic words a la peanut butter sandwiches. And we take a look, and yes, there it goes. It's starting to build the center part of the tree, which is going to be really nice. So buildy, buildy, buildy. Yeah, look at that. That's going pretty nicely. And the nice thing about this, doesn't need any energy. It will consume all the items. So that's where'd you go? Oh, over here. Cool. So this will go ahead and do that. And once it's done with this... Hey, you're supposed to keep going. Why are you stopping? Okay, I'm not sure why that's stopping, but it shouldn't be. It should be working just fine. Anyway, once, looks like maybe I messed up the ritual a little bit, but, oh, nope, here it goes. I spoke too soon. Good thing I came out. This way we can see the outside going. And all right, so now it should start putting the root parts of the tree, because that's just the central column, and we need the root part here to go down the side to give it some interest, because you got your central column of a tree like this. You got roots and stuff coming off the side. Roots? Huh. Okay, so maybe we aren't getting any roots. Okay, what about the leaves on top? Because this is supposed to be a friggin' huge tree with friggin' huge leaves. So where's my leaves? Huh. What do you think? Is that big enough? Is that a big enough beginning part for a tree? Yep, that's a pretty big tree. Okay, so no, there's no such ritual. Of course, you knew that from the beginning. All that was just using the RF Tools builder. And it's magic! RF Tools is magic! Holy cow, it's loads of fun. This is the first time I've built something like that using this. I've built trees before, like... it's way down there in the dark. I like that stump and trees elsewhere. I've done them lots and lots of times. But I've not done something this size using RF Tools. All the time before, I've done them by hand. Okay, maybe a builder's wand, but by hand. So this is my little stuff over here, and I snuck it over here for fun. This is the builder block piece that I had set up to do the cylinder, and that one actually shows how big the... It's got to be big. That one shows what the top is going to look like, but that way I could show Toddy, because this is going to be close to his stuff, and it's going to be big, and I didn't want it to be too overshadowing with his stuff, and so I previewed it with him first so that he would see it, and he said, sure, go ahead, and so great. And that used a little bit more than 200 stacks of dark oak wood, because I'm going to need to use a whole bunch more of that. This here is my chat detector, and that's what actually did everything. Was you just say the a la peanut butter sandwiches, the magic word, and it detected it. It gave a pulse, and it pushed the redstone over, and that told the builder block here to go ahead and do its thing. And I'm guessing maybe it ran out of power when it kind of stuttered there. That's the only thing I could think of. So that's my little setup. Let's see, do I have, I thought I had some tape. I do, packing tape. All right, because I need you to come back with me. Come back with me. Thank you. Because that was nice to get done right away, because doing that by hand would be unfun. Very much unfun. But I do need to go through, just like I did here with this, and kind of broaden out the base a little bit. That's what I need to do here. That's next. So I need to broaden out the base some, and I'm also going to broaden out the top a little bit, because that's going to go into the canopy, the leaf canopy. And then I'm going to have to do the same sort of silliness and RF tools the top. I've been growing gobs and gobs and gobs of the nature essence so that I can make leaves on demand. This took, trying to remember, something like 26,000 blocks if I did the math right, although it's missing some because of down here. So 200 stacks. The top crown piece is something like 100,000 leaf blocks. I don't want to do that manually at all. And I'm going to do it solid just because it looks better. For me, I always run it with the fast video so that I don't see through the leaves. But I've done it before on other servers where I had just the one layer and you could look right in, and that didn't look good. So I started putting more and more layers internally with the builder wands. And it's too much work for me. This is a big, massive project. Anyway, I'm going to have to lay out a whole bunch of additional stuff to make this look good and recover my silly ritual bits in there. I think it'd be kind of fun to have a ritual that involved a jam, don't you? 9 hours later. So, no, it's more like 2. 1.5. Done a little bit of work here. You can see behind me. I've got 2 additional layers around, and I've gone in here and started chopping down the centerpiece. You can see where it's overlapped and coming out. I figure I don't need solid all the way through, and I can use the wood elsewhere. The idea is to make kind of a gentle slope coming down, and then I can sit there and twiddle it a little bit more. Here, out of the way, you stump. I can twiddle this a little bit more to get some more interest in it. So you can see here's the first rendition of the slope that I've got here, and it's kind of boring. This is a lot more interesting because it's a lot more jagged going up and down. That's a better thing. Plus, here I played with a little recessed and cutting out a little notch. That sort of thing really makes the tree look more real and less placed. So those are some of the things that need to be done. I need to do at least probably about another 3 or 4 layers out. Most of the bottom ones are going to be way down here. And then some additional jagged pieces coming out of that, some big massive roots and stuff like that. At least that's what I've got in my mind. Whether or not I actually do that, that's another matter. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is, yeah, it's starting to show up on the mini map a little bit more. Zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, it's starting to thicken up, which is going to be kind of cool. So yeah, just kind of like you've got the initial ring here of the stump, and then you can see how it extends out. I like that. That looks more real. This is just fakey still. Anyway, lots of stuff to do. So much work. But the skirt is looking pretty good. It's coming down. It still needs like about another 2 or 3 rings around it, and then some kind of fiddly work and some big old roots. And I think that's the sound of a time lapse. Let's get this happening. I'm sure hoping that time-lapse turned out nicely. I've not been able to do that, but Toddy was very kind and said he would stand and be my camera for me while I zoomed around and did a lot of fiddly work. Two major things done now. Let's spin around. Yeah, it's got roots sticking in all around and going around. In fact, if we take a look overhead, yeah, you can see how it's got roots kind of going out as opposed to just a plain circle. No, that actually looks more tree-like, similar to my stump, but, you know, dark oak. Anyway, so that's kind of going all the way around. And then some of the things I did, I went through and I've got these oak pieces. These are the dark oak bark from cork, where you take 4 dark oaks, you put them in a grid, and it'll give you 4 barks where it's all around the sides are there. So that way I don't have any of the light pieces. If you come over here, I did a little bit with this. You can see, yeah, here's a couple pieces with oak bark and where it's not. And so I want to go ahead and do the same thing over here. I just haven't done it yet. Yeah, you can see where I've done some of them. Anyway, so that's what I've got over here. Still do have this little entrance way down here. I decided to keep that for fun, but roots coming down and growing around, and maybe this one needs to be a little bit bigger, I think. But just kind of playing with it and having fun gives it a more natural look, and there's a line that I don't like. But I'll go ahead and fiddle with that. What it still needs is a whole bunch of extra work. Like, I've got this line here, I dug in a little bit there, I did that again over here. That really breaks up the straight lines a whole bunch. So I want to kind of chew this up a little bit, make it look a little bit more natural, and I'm pretty much just going to chop it off here. Everything below is going to be fiddled with, and then that centerpiece, and then I need to do a top crown up at the top, similar to this, except faster, and some big branches sticking out, and then I'll deal with leaves. But that's later, because there's too many leaves at this point, and this still needs a good maybe 2-3 hours worth of just fiddly bits to make it look good. And I was thinking, you know, do I want to put lights around here to fix this? No. And I can see right here, there's a line right there that needs to be broken up. Yep. So that's some of the things I do, is kind of break things so it doesn't, it's not so linear. It's not so non-organic. I want it to look good, like, you know, there's these big roots popping out here and growing along, and this one's going out and then down, and, you know, something that gives it a little bit more life, for lack of a better word for it. So having fun with this is massive, and it's a slightly different one because it is so massive. I'm not building out as fast as I would, because if we come around here to the stump, okay, so to the stump here, you can see it goes down and out faster, a little bit faster. It's the same. Anyway, so that's that, and then I need to put a little bit of vegetation, a little bit of you know, I've got a little bit of the leaves in there. Not sure how much I'm going to do. At least some trees down here at the bottom, because I definitely want the top to have the most of the greenery. Oh, so much wood is in there. One of the things I did do, just to kind of soup inside, I did trim out the inside, so it's not just straight all the way down in this skirt. It is chewed out, and, you know, it's not like I need to save the wood for any reason, but I was looking at it and going, yeah, this gives me more room in here to do stuff. Not that I'm sure what I'm going to do. And then as soon as the leaves come on, this greenhouse glass isn't going to do any good anymore. But that's okay. I've got the imaginary time block, and that really kicks the spurs to this and gets it going. And my little hovel here is pretty hovel-tastic at this point, because it's being massively overshadowed by the tree, which is kind of the idea of why I picked this hill. I wanted this to be something that the tree would kind of organically grow out of. So I like how you got this hill coming up into the tree. That I love. I think that's really cool. The tree is a heck of a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be much, much smaller, but nope. When I graphed this out and looked at the height of what I needed, and I was going, no, proportionally it needs to be much taller than this. So you can see if that's the kind of proportions I like for a stump, if the tree would start to grow the leaves here, that amount of stump, it needs that width, it needs that heft to it. Likewise here, if it's got this much heft to it, now that I pull back, that top really still needs some more work. If it's got this much heft, it's not going to be a little bit of leaves. It's going to be a lot of leaves because it needs to be big. How big? Well, let me give you a clue. When talking with Toddy, I was saying from the very get-go, when we realized that we were neighbors here, and we both picked out our areas almost simultaneously. I had a sign up here, so mine counted, and he didn't, but he built here first. But when he was building over here, I told him I was planning on building a tree. Oh, I'm liking the look of that. But I told him I was planning on building a friggin' huge tree, and he's got his solar here. If all goes to plan, my tree crown will get close, but I definitely did not want to cut out his solar, so it's not going to get that big, but it's going to get pretty big. Massive. But it's fun. It's fun tackling a really large project like this. So the next little thing, and I'm not going to video it because it's going to be boring as sin, is going through here and just kind of put some randomization that I was talking about, breaking up some sort of straight lines that I noticed and go, nope. I want this to look more random, which is really tough because it's not, but I'm going to try for it and see if I can get some better curves in that. But yeah, there is the mega stump. So, teeny tiny stump, mega stump, and eventually it's going to be a tree, but for now it's just a stump. Yeah, I'm liking it. All right, let's sign off here. I think I've done enough for this episode. Holy cow, it's taken it's almost a week since the last episode went out. Either I'm really lazy or I've been doing a lot of work. I'll let you make the call. Anyway, this has been Grok the DuckFarmer here on the FTOG Avant3 server, having a blast building the big tree. Thanks for watching. Bye.